Well, hello everybody, and today you join me for a brand new episode in my garden for a change, because I want to talk to you a little bit about something that we don't talk about enough, I feel, and that is the topic of flowers. Now, flowers play a huge part whether you have a garden or an allotment at home, and I want to talk to you a little bit today about those, as well as telling you a few of my personal favourites. Welcome back to this week's episode, and for those of you who are maybe joining us for the first time or you aren't a subscriber yet, welcome. My name's Hayley, and this YouTube channel is all about the adventures I have in my garden and in my allotment in Norfolk, and I like to talk to you all about flowers, vegetables, things to do, things not to do, as well as share with you all my progress and all my mistakes along the way. So like I say, if this is the first episode you're watching, then welcome. It's lovely to have you here. Now, today I am going to be talking a little bit about flowers. The sun has just gone in, so I'm hoping it's going to come back out rather than rain in a little while. But yeah, I want to talk to you today about flowers. Plus, it's an excuse for me to talk about things on my allotment and things in my garden that I love, because we all tend to grow the flowers that we love at home, because that's where we spend our time, and we want to spend time looking at things that we love. Makes sense, really. So yeah, I'm going to talk about a few of my favourites today, and obviously talk to you about the benefits of having flowers in your garden and up at your allotment. First of all, there are many benefits to having flowers at home or up at your allotment, and the main one is obviously to encourage wildlife to come to where you're living or where your allotment is, particularly bees and butterflies, which obviously will kill off garden pests, and like things like butterflies and ladybirds will obviously kill off aphids and things like that. And then obviously we need to protect the bumblebees as best as we possibly can. So anything that encourages a bumblebee to come and land in my garden, I am absolutely up for it. I was hoping one was going to beautifully time itself to land on my hydrangea as I was filming, but I don't think that is going to happen. I also like to have areas in my garden where there are sort of dark and damp places. I have many frogs in my garden, which I love. I love having frogs because, again, they eat all the pests that are in the garden. I have seen a frog chomping down on a small slug. Whilst it wasn't a pretty sight, definitely needed in the garden. This is one of two hydrangeas I have in my garden. Most of you will know that hydrangeas get their colour depending on the acidity or alkaline of the soil, and I have one, funnily enough, on the other side of the lawn, which is bright pink, and this one this year is definitely got that more of a purpley bluey hue to it, which is really bizarre because they are literally like 5 meters away from each other, totally different colours. But no, I love hydrangeas. This one came from my great-grandmother's garden and was passed down to me by my grandfather, and now is doing really well here. I always say when I move, I don't know if I'm going to be able to take it with me. Maybe I'll take the one over there, but it's a little bit smaller. I can hear a bumblebee now. Come on, fly and land. But yeah, so hydrangeas are one of my personal favourites. I do like flowers that can be used in cooking as well, and to be made into products. So lavender, for example, I love putting lavender in food, like lavender shortbread, lavender cake. I then make things at Christmas like soaps and candles, which you've probably all seen from last Christmas's videos, to gift to my friends and family. So lavender is a big winner for me. Nasturtiums I really like, again the same reason, because you can eat the flowers and eat the leaves. There is also further benefit to nasturtium. It goes kind of like a carpet, so if you've got an area that you are sort of is more prone to weeds, you can basically plant nasturtium and they will cover the area like a carpet, and then I find that it really suppresses the weeds and keeps them back. So another benefit for having flowers on your allotment or in your garden. Plus I love putting nasturtiums like on top of cupcakes and just chucking into salads, things like that. So definitely another winner on the flower front. But thinking of my favourite flowers, if I had to pick one, if I could only ever have one plant flower ever again, I think it would have to be my rhododendron. I do love my rhododendron. It's big and it's pink and it's beautiful. I bought it when it was about this big, and I've had it for 5 years now, and it's a monster. So it's doing really, really well. Again, another one that likes acidic soil, so if your soil isn't acidic, you can always go and buy some ericaceous compost. Make sure you put it in acidic soil to give that the best possible chance as well. Same as blueberries and cranberries, they both like acidic soil, and obviously won't grow well if your garden or allotment is of neutral or alkaline soil. What else are my favourites? I love sunflowers because they are just so big and beautiful. I love cutting them off and then bringing them into my house to bring a bit of colour into my house. And there's the added bonus of when the flowers are finished, you can take the seed heads, and I like to then put them on my bird table to feed to the birds. I do keep a few back to plant for the following year. But again, another benefit for the wildlife and encouraging that wildlife into my garden. I don't think there's anything much better than sitting out here sort of an afternoon and you can watch the birds. I got a bit attached to a robin last year. Haven't seen him since last year, so I was quite sad, but I hope he's all right. But I do get attached to the wildlife. We've now made a little wildlife pond at the bottom of the garden, so I hope to see my frogs sort of more regularly. The bees and the butterflies. I've got a massive buddleia bush behind me. Oh, there's Bumblebee. Massive buddleia bush behind me, and that just draws in the butterflies at this time of year. It does need a hard prune every year because it grows so big so quickly, but overall, yeah, beautiful plant. So buddleias, yeah, I like those too. I nearly said hyacinth. Hydrangeas I love. My rhododendrons are obviously my favourite. I also love dahlias, the different varieties and colours. I have loads up at the allotment, all different colours. I'm making sure I put loads of pictures in for you so you can see. I don't think we talk about flowers enough. I don't think we give them the credit they deserve, because without them, I don't think we'd get half of the wildlife in our gardens that we do. So definitely a flower person. So dahlias, I love those. In the spring, I obviously love my daffodils. I rabbit on about daffodils all the time, but they are one of my favourites. I love daffodils. There's not many flowers I don't like. I do like most flowers. Yeah, I can't really think of any I don't like. There is one. I'm not a fan of red hot pokers. I'm not sure what their proper name is. Maybe one of you can tell me. I don't know why. They just aren't my cup of tea. And geraniums. I don't know, maybe they're just not, spectacular enough. Yeah, I do like my flowers to make a statement. I love my gladioli up at the allotment as well. There's like just pops of colour. I love that. And there's so many different varieties, which is even better. And yeah, and again, I like flowers that I can cut and bring home, so I can enjoy them in the house as well as when I'm at the allotment. I do like to bring flowers home with me and make sure that I get to enjoy them for the most possible amount of time every season. So what other advantages are there? So obviously flowers you can use in cooking, you can use them in gifts, you can use them as sort of herbal remedies. Make sure you look into that though, before you do, and make sure that you use the right flowers and herbs, and make sure that you're okay to use them as that, and they're not going to give you any weird side effects, because that can be the case. Teas, and use herbs and flowers in teas, and cooking. And I've already said cooking, but you know what I'm like. I love food, and I love cake, and I love drinks. Elderflowers, don't even get me started on how much I love those. So yeah, all the ways you can use them in food. I am obviously, as you all know, a bit of a baker, and I love cooking, especially when I can incorporate things from my own garden into my food, and then wash my hands using soap with lavender from the Allotment, or calendula from the Allotment. It's just amazing. You can also make skincare products, and like I said before, soaps, candles, anything. Bath bombs is another one. And then obviously we've got the massive benefits to the wildlife. So it will help the bee population, which, I hate to say it, needs massive improvement. So if you've got space for some more flowers in your garden, please plant some more. Save the bees. Let's increase their population again. The bumblebee numbers are just terrible at the moment, and hopefully by everyone working together we'll be able to increase those numbers of the lovely little bumblebees. So think about wildlife in terms of preserving the wildlife, and also think about it in terms of pests, as horrible as it is to say. Obviously having flowers will provide nutrients. Ooh, Mr. Bumblebee talked it up. It's so lovely. Think of the wildlife, and think about the pests that it will get rid of on your allotment as well. You want to see some ladybirds go wild on a lupin that has been covered in aphids. Lupins. I get so distracted. Lupins. Put them on the list too. Tick, love lupins. But you should see them. Ladybirds. People actually buy bags of like 200 ladybirds to put on their flowers, because of the good job they do on the aphids and keeping the pests down. So definitely encourage wildlife into your garden. I know not everyone is like a fan of frogs. Frogs are a very take it or leave it, but I do. I like frogs a lot. So yeah, but that's pretty much it from me today. Let me know what you do in your garden to promote wildlife. We have a bird table as well, for like the sunflowers, and I like to feed the birds over winter to keep their numbers up, as well as an bug insect house. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of some insects, so wasps, I know they're important. I know we had this conversation when I had a wasp infestation in the polytunnel. I didn't kill them. It just meant I grew nothing in the polytunnel. Which sounds bizarre now, but never mind. Moths as well. Even though I love butterflies, don't do moths. My friend really made a good analogy. She said moths are basically butterflies on Red Bull. Kind of see it. I don't like them. They're not dainty like butterflies. They're like... That's a really bad impression of a moth. But yeah, bug insect houses, bird tables, feed the wildlife, look after the wildlife. It really is as simple as that. And then hopefully they'll look after your garden and your allotment for you. But that's pretty much it from me this week. Just a short, quick catch up to see how you all are. As always, if you have any feedback, please leave it in the comments below, or you can drop me a like. I'll show you some more footage now of the plants that I'm growing in my garden, and I'll see you all next week. Stay safe, look after each other, and I'll see you soon. Bye.